Oh my word. What is going on, my friends? Hello. I have a new camera, if you haven't noticed. The quality is just superb compared to the last little junkster I had that I sold on Marketplace to some, I don't know, I feel bad for that person. I sell everything on Marketplace, like anything possible. Those commercials where it like touches things and turns to money, that's like how my brain works. I'm like, don't need that anymore, sell. Don't need that anymore, sell. And the best part of it all is living in a city like New York, like LA, but even more New York. People are willing to buy secondhand anything. Anything that you see, an old pair of shoes, a shitty camera, a mirror that maybe has a dent on the side. Like, people want your secondhand things at a discount. Like, people might lowball you, just accept it and take it. And the way that I justify it in my head is it's better than going in the trash. Like, I'd rather get $10 for something I paid $100 for instead of it going in the trash. And Dylan thinks I'm insane. And unfortunately, he always does get stuck with doing majority of the handoffs because I'll be like running late from home from work and I can't do it. But he simply has had enough and told me that he's not doing that anymore because he's had one too many weird instances where they've started asking him a lot of questions that probably any normal person would be able to answer. But to Dylan, the fact that he's like having to do this transaction, which I understand. It's also the classic meme of the boyfriend that's like, when my girlfriend makes me do a Facebook Marketplace trade-off and I'm standing in the middle of the Lowe's or Home Depot parking lot with a microwave in my hands. Like, that literally is Dylan to a T. So I understand the frustration. Losing my sidekick. But anywho, it's been quite some time since we've chit-chatted, and there's a lot on my mind, on my heart, in life. 2026 has been off to a very fast start. It's been very chaotic. Haven't really been able to like keep track of things, to be honest. And I feel my like ADHD and my need to clench down and tighten my grip is heightened because I do have a lot of work travel, personal travel, a new year with like work. There's always a huge overhaul and change in territories and anything in sales. Like, you have a quarterly or monthly number you need to be hitting. So that's additional stress and just wanting to start the year off strong. Not doing that too well so far, but yeah, there's just been a lot, and I literally have an eye twitch. I had a little like health instance this week, and it just reminded me, and one of my best friends always tells me this, is your body keeps score. If you don't think that you are stressed, your body may feel otherwise. And something that actually has really centered me on this is, even before getting like ailments like an eye twitch, it also is from like incessantly looking at screens. But I've been doing acupuncture. I thank God for TikTok. Like, as crazy and vile as people can be on that app, it actually is a great crowdsourcing and just staying up to date on your city and knowing cool niche things. I found a woman had posted, literally, this is just like it's so meant to be, an acupuncturist who takes my healthcare, because the only reason I haven't done acupuncture before is every single session is roughly like $200, including tip. And my sister, Lauren, does acupuncture in San Francisco. And the only way that you can really see consistent benefits of it is if you go weekly. So I've never really committed to it because it was cost prohibitive. And there was never really a place that was nearby that I had access to. This random acupuncture place that a woman solely owns herself, is conveniently on the same street as my work. So, and most importantly, takes my insurance. So every single time I see her, it is $15. $15. Each of her sessions are $150. Something was looking out for me. It was so destined for me to be doing acupuncture and going here. So I've been going weekly. And sometimes we'll alternate on my stomach or on my back. And you obviously do an intake form. They ask kind of why you're there. And for those of you that are averse to acupuncture, I would disqualify anyone who has an aversion to needles. I just don't think it's going to go over well. But don't group chiropractor and acupuncture in the same theme. I think acupuncture has way more history. It dates further back than modern medicine. It is true, like, what is it? Eastern, like homeopathic, incorporating lifestyle, incorporating mind, body, soul. It's a little woo-woo, but that's why it does well in New York and LA and California in general. But we did it in intake form. So I gave her all the information about like my life and like any symptoms that I'm facing. Literally, you can go to acupuncture for anything. A lot of people I know have gone for like fertility. People have gone for chronic stress or like chronic issues, just like regular nervous system balancing. So she'll alternate me on my front and my back. And she doesn't tell me where she's poking me. Like literally this woman is a ninja. She puts me in her room. She has like 4 rooms. She's churning all of us out. And mind you, we're like, it's only chicks. Like I swear only chicks are coming to her place. And she'll sit you on the bed. She's really nice, has really good bedside manner, is just like a really normal person, very loving. She'll literally come in. She'll tell you front or back. She'll prick you in about maybe 2 minutes. And then she'll leave. Like the accuracy of where she's pricking you is insane. And she's not like guiding you through it, which I guess if you wanted her to, she could, but this is just a system that she has. Maybe she thought I was a little bit more familiar with acupuncture because I did tell her that my sister was a practicing acupuncturist. And I also needed to like tell her that because this TikTok that blew up about this woman, she had said that she had like over 300 inbound requests as new clients. She's like, I don't need new clients. Like, she's like, I have a great recurring clientele and patient list. I don't need to work on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, Sundays. I'm like, oh my God, that's killer. She literally only works Monday, or she only doesn't work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Does not accept new patients. So I felt the need I needed to like write a whole thing as to why she should accept me. And maybe it helped. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people even want to bring in people that take insurance because it's a whole headache for business owners. But so whether she doesn't tell me what she's doing because she thinks I already know, or this is just what she does, I don't really ask questions. Bringing this all back to the fact that your body keeps score and senses things that you may not. Before I even had my eye twitch, this was like a few weeks ago, she had pricked points on my back. And for the first time ever, she was like, you get like a little press button that you can press if you are uncomfortable. And there was this spot on my back, my lower back, that I was like, ow, this is really hurting and it's not going away. And I had to ring the bell, and she came back in, and I was like, can you just like move that needle? And she moved that needle, and then she left the room. And then the same needle on the other side of my back started to really hurt, like bad. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I rang her again, and I'm like, this isn't going away. It's like a stinging, sharp pain. And she's like, okay. She's like, do you know what this point is? I'm like, no. She's like, it's anxiety. And I'm like, oh, that would make sense. I guess I do have like a lot on my plate right now. And then I got an eye twitch, whatever. And then cut to this last week where, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I have a bladder infection. So that is my health issue. But I'm lying on the table. And at this point, I already knew I had it. And she pricked a few points in my body. Again, doesn't tell me what means what. And this one on the top of my foot, on my right foot, was really hurting. And she pricked me for like helping with like blood, with water circulation. Okay, there's 2 points to this to hopefully maybe convince some of you to try acupuncture. Well, these are 3 actually, including the first one. The point on the top of my right foot was really hurting, and I had to tell her. I don't think I buzzed her. I think I fought through it, but I was like, that feels uncomfortable. And when she came back in after the session was done, because she leaves you on the table and you literally just meditate. You try as best you can to relax. Sometimes it's hard for me. Sometimes it's really easy, and I actually just fully fall asleep. Today or yesterday, it was hard for me. And she came back in, and I told her the one on the top of my foot was hurting. And she said, that is your bladder. And I'm like, what the heck is up with this woo-woo shit? I just like, this is crazy. Like it's so accurate. And then even more so, why this should convince you to try it is my symptoms were so bad yesterday. When I realized I had one, bad symptoms. Like I thought I was going to need to go to urgent care. It was really bad. Immediately following that session, my symptoms alleviated. I didn't even need to take any additional like pain medication. I just took it as preventative. I slept through the entire night. I woke up. My pain is like, it's like pretty much gone. Like I don't have pain. If women know when you pee, like it's pretty much almost gone. WTF. That was literally a 12-hour bladder infection leading up to my acupuncture. weird stuff. So my body's been under a bit of stress. I think I'm actually holding on to, I'm anxious. I'm definitely anxious. It definitely stems from work because sales is just stressful in general. And it's such a work in progress and figuring out how to like balance, working towards a quota, having really great months, and then you try your best to prepare yourself to have even more opportunities next month. But sometimes just the wind doesn't blow in your direction and deals don't go through. And then you're like, oh, I'm kind of shit out of luck, but you're still working hard, whatever. And this has been a major dialogue on my social media because I've been recently leaning into the fact that I do tech sales and stuff because I do think it's more of a niche that a lot of people don't talk about or know about. And so I'm happy to be in whatever knowledge I have to share, or at least at the bare minimum, just like talk about my insecurities and like how I've navigated certain situations. And it's actually been pretty crazy. It was always the content that I would get the most responses from regarding like work. People would like privately message me and ask for my advice, and I would get on calls with them and like take networking calls, which if any of you guys ever have opportunities to give back and take networking calls, obviously you have a capacity and you don't want to interfere with your personal or work life, but definitely try to do so. Like you owe it to the universe to give back to these people who are asking for your time. Because first of all, it's really brave and it shows like tenacity and like strong work ethic and just like wanting to get better and improve. And also if you think back to your parts of your career, you probably asked people for time and that they gave you. So I do always try, even if it's just, hey, let me give you my number, send me over your questions and I'll respond with voice memos. Like I'm happy to do that. It really is such a low lift. And honestly, a lot of the time, sometimes they forget and I never end up hearing from them. So that's another thing. But I've noticed that a lot of the content historically that I've gotten the most like appreciation for was about like work stuff, and then stretching into people like going out of their way to message me and like ask for my advice. I'm like, oh my God, I really don't think I'm qualified to do this, but I'm happy to share my thoughts. Like, I can yap. I can definitely have an opinion. And so anyways, I've been leaning into that. If you're maybe from TikTok and listening to this now, like definitely let me know what type of content. I can make like a whole podcast about sales, and it probably will bore everybody else to death. But those who have been asking me a lot of questions on there, I definitely can do like a full Q&A and sit down and answer all my questions and give my thoughts. But yeah, sales, it can run you a little dry, and I think with just like a lot of travel coming up, my body is starting to like prepare in a way, but I do have a pretty good immune system and it'll get me through. But we're really excited to leave New York right now because it is literally so freaking cold. Like you step outside and your hands turn bright red. I swear my hands are even more wrinkly than they are before. Every like cut you have on your fingers will remain a cut forever because it will just never heal, because you'll go outside and you'll move your hand and the cut will burst right open. Like you come from outside and your face is red. It is just like it's like you're skiing down a mountain all the time with the wind in New York right now. It is so cold. And we are going to my sister Lauren, the acupuncturist, wedding in Costa Rica. We leave on Saturday and we're so excited. We're going to go for a whole week. Dylan's bringing his golf clubs. He's going to golf. I'm just going to probably lie around. I will have to work, but that's okay. At least I'll be in the sunshine, and we'll all be wearing long gowns and linen suits in 95, 97 degree weather. So that's going to be fun. But honestly, I can't complain because I'm going to be so grateful to GTFO out of here. And I think my body is like, I'm like trying to tell myself like, relax, like it's okay. Like you'll be able to like look at the beach and the ocean and like be like so privileged, so grateful. But I'm trying to tell myself like, you don't need to hold on to this stress. So some things that I wanted to address that have been like things that have come up more for me, that have become more like themes in some things that I like really deeply believe, are a few things. One, maybe this isn't like a deep belief, but I had a weird revelation, and this literally could just be a symptom of the fact that Dylan and I are so landlocked in New York sometimes because we don't have a car, that like it was MLK weekend this past weekend and we didn't make any plans. So literally we just like sat on the couch. And I also think we had just sat on the couch a lot over the break and holidays. So maybe it just felt like kind of, what are we doing here? But then I have an older sister who has 2 children, and she's like, yeah, you're never going to be able to do that again. So soak it up. So then I feel guilty for not doing anything, because I'm like, I want to be doing things, but should I be enjoying not doing anything? Because eventually when I have even a child, I will never have a moment of peace and silence again, from what it seems. So, but I'm coming to realize that life gets a little bit more boring the older you get. And I actually do think having children will make it way more brighter and fun. And I'm not saying I'm bored in my life today, but I was just thinking about, the idea of moving back to California. We've been in New York, 4.5 years now, it's coming closer. Like, I don't think we're going to get to like 8 years in eight years in New York. It's probably going to be somewhere around like 6 or 7. And I'm just trying to reflect back on a lot of the things I used to do here. The first year I lived in New York was very chaotic. It was very fun. And Dylan was also working in like a more aggressive role in investment banking. So I had a lot of free time, and I did live alone. And I remember doing a bunch of girls' trips, which were initiated mostly by me, but also by others, and just like were easy to plan and coordinate with people's calendars. It felt like people weren't as busy. And so that kind of adds to the idea that like things have gotten a little bit more boring, because, I'm turning 27 in a few months, and people are starting to plant some roots and get pretty established in their careers, or maybe just uprooting and changing things and moving different cities. And you're losing access to people. Well, you naturally lose access to people a little bit more the older you get. And that is just natural. And sometimes you can't really see it coming until it happens. Then you're like, whoa, I haven't gone on a girls' trip in a really long time with those people. Like, maybe I can try to revive that, but it's also seeming like so much effort for something that I don't know is meant to be. I think the idea of bringing people together and making things happen, and most importantly, going out of your way to make things happen in your earlier 20s is a lot easier, because it does seem like it's going to be a net positive gain. But the older you get, and I'm not saying I'm like an ancient witch over here, like that's not the case, but the older you get, I think you just start to realize, A, how fast time goes, and B, how valuable your time is. Like, time is the greatest currency, and that goes to the time you spend with people, the time you spend with yourself, the time you spend thinking about certain things, ruminating about certain things, the time you spend in your job. Like, where there is discomfort, and there is good and bad discomfort, we won't get into that, but when there is a bad discomfort, it's really important to adjust and pivot quickly, because you don't want to look back and felt I wasted my time. So I think now, when I think about planning these girls' events, these girls' trips, and doing things that would make me feel less bored, I'm just tired. And also I'm like, I just don't want to. And I think 24-year-old Faith would be like, WTF? Like, what? Like, hello, go have fun, go plan these trips. You're such a coordinator and an organizer. And God knows how I'm going to feel when I'm like 35, 36, 38, probably haven't hosted some more holiday parties, done some more things. Hopefully there'll be and maybe I'll shift to the other side, and I'll be like, yeah, I want to host, which maybe that might be the case, because things will just be a lot easier to do, like drive places and pick up things, and like literally having a car, something I'm like really ruminating on recently. But I just feel like I'm more bored, and I'm in the in-between of accepting that life's a little boring. And some of you might be really rolling your eyes, and I'm even hearing me talk right now. I'm living in New York City. How could life be boring? And let me just tell you a little bit how it can be boring. It can be boring because it's a cycle. It's cyclical. When you're 27, a lot of us are single or in relationships, not married, maybe newly engaged, still young. A lot of the only things you can do, especially in the winter in New York City, is go out to eat, go out for drinks. That's it. Like, truly. Concerts are okay, but that takes a lot of coordination and effort. And also concerts start at like 12 a.m. So, okay. And when those are your two options, you're like, do I really want to go out and spend money? You can invite people over to your apartments, but you'd be shocked because everybody has to walk everywhere or take subways or Ubers, especially in the winter. It's like even hard to get people to come to one location in general. The winter is just tough. And coming on, this is our fourth winter. I think this is also adding to that boredom that I feel, because maybe I was more active before, or maybe it's always been this way. But despite living in New York, and some of you may disagree with me, so please let me know. Everything costs money. So even if some of you were like, go to a painting class, go to a pottery class, go to a jewelry making class, not only do I have to go out of my way to go do these things, but they also cost money. So I don't know how willing I'm going to be able to do any of those when I could just conveniently walk a couple blocks and just do the same, get drinks or get food, or both, or go to the movies, which that's also available too. But even Matt Damon and who does he work with? Not Ben Stiller, I forget but whatever his other business partner is, are saying that, and we all know this, like movie tickets have significantly gone down over the past few years, and that they are actually changing the way that directors and producers are filming movies to be more climactic, because people are watching at home or watching on their phones, and there's just naturally more distractions around you. Your water's running, you're cooking food, your kids are running around. That previously with movie directing, there would only be like one big action scene for action movies, and now they're factoring in 2, if not 3, to keep people engaged and like captivated by the movie, which is just crazy. Our attention spans are tiny, as in mine with this. Whenever I record a podcast, I'm like, bing, 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 bing. But yeah, and some of you may have a worthy argument as to how dare I even think living in New York City is boring. And I'm not saying New York is boring. I'm just saying I can be bored in New York, because sometimes I feel like there's not a lot to do. And sometimes there's not a lot to do that's easy to do. There's a lot to do if you are willing to go out of your way. But again, it goes back to the initial argument of time is important, energy is important, where you're exerting it is important. And 24-year-old Faith would be willing to get on a subway, to get on the Amtrak, to get on a horseback riding trail, to go explore a new area of upstate New York. Almost 27-year-old Faith, I don't think I'd be willing to do that, because I know if I got out there and it sucked, I'd be pissed. I'd get over it, but it would just more be, oh God, like, why did I just do this? This is annoying. However, that's why you surround yourself with good company and uplifting people, which actually brings me to my second theme of things I wanted to talk about, which is the older I've gotten, the more I realize I cannot be around negative people. It is extremely toxic. Might I even add poisonous to me and my energy and my just like reserve of like grace and patience. When I am around negative people, not only can I physically like feel this in my skin, when somebody's in a bad mood around me, like I literally can viscerally feel weird. I don't know if anybody else feels this way. I know my sisters do, but I can, and this might be some weird psychic thing, but I can literally feel people's energy. Like if you are really uptight, and this also goes especially with people that I know very deeply, but even with some new people that I meet, if you're like a little bit off, I feel it. So like, don't be weird around me. I'm just kidding. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. And that also ties into the last theme I have, which is the people pleasing element. Sometimes, and I'm going to weave both of these in, but those two, feeling people's energies and the people pleasing, feed into each other, because sometimes when I do feel like people are upset or aggravated, my natural tendency was to lean in and make them feel better about themselves, or try to like make the situation better. But the thing is, that just drains me. It never makes it better. And it's not about the situation. It's about that person and their mindset and what they're telling themselves. And this goes in your work environment, in friendships, in family, in social settings, literally avoid negative people like the plague, because unless you have some crazy deterrence or some crazy wall that you can put up to negative people, I don't have that ability. Like, honestly, when I'm around people, I really do like to put my guard down and my walls down and just like be myself. It's something that I'd struggled with in corporate world, kind of feeling like I needed to mute who I was. And I don't think that's necessary really at all. And especially around like new friends, I'm pretty quick to just like be my authentic self, because again, it's way too tiring to like put on a face and pretend. And this also does come backfiring, because people are like, oh my God, Faith looks so pissed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think anybody could know, but yeah, I actually really am. But I have to personally avoid people who are negative like the plague, because and I have to be selfish about it. And I actually don't feel bad saying that, because it really wears me down like bad. And I'll come back from like any interactions with really negative people feeling bad about myself. And then I'm like, wait, why? Now I feel bad. Like, what? I let that happen to me. Like, now I feel crappy and I feel exhausted and depleted, and I feel like I just wasted my time. And the saddest part of it all is you can't do anything to fix them. Like, even if your people-pleasing instincts do kick in and you attempt to relieve them of whatever they're going through, whether it's a stranger, it most of the time is not going to work. And second of all, it's also kind of self-serving. Like, a huge part of people-pleasing, which I never realized, is a lot of a self-serving thing. Because you are going out of your way to make somebody else feel good about themselves, because that's making you feel uncomfortable. Like, for people pleasers, and for me, maybe I should speak to myself, but I do think a lot of what people pleasing is I think we've framed it as people make the argument that there's no such thing as like altruistic actions. Like, nobody's ever doing anything out of the good of their heart. It's always for something. It's always for a gain. And I think this does apply to people pleasing, because as much as we might think and say, oh, I want to make everybody feel comfortable and safe, if you really think about it, and if I think about it, I'm like, no, I want to make people feel comfortable so I can feel comfortable, which is fair. Like, honestly, it's fair. I just wish maybe there was a different word to describe that besides people pleasing, because for some reason I feel like people pleasing, and it aggravates me when this is said, is like, oh my gosh, like, you're such an amazing person that you want to make everybody feel good about themselves. Because a lot of this time, those types of people pleasers are the ones that are actually like taking something away from the environment. And it's like, it's almost so obvious that they are trying to like make everything look good that it's weird. So I just have to be honest with myself, and especially in these situations when there's a lot of negativity somewhere, and I need to like reassess what the situation is. I've felt when I've like tried to do things to like make it better, it's always just to make me feel better, and it never ends up making me feel better ever, like at all. It actually ends up making me feel like empty and annoyed. But people pleasing, it's just interesting, because us women, we all do it. Like, literally all of us do it. And I don't know. I've definitely been done less of it. Like, I've watched my sisters, mention that they're people pleasing tendencies, and it never ends up seeming like a very positive thing to continue to be a people pleaser. It just ends up feeling like it takes away from you, because you really are devoting time, your energy, which is time. Those things go hand in hand, to something that doesn't really end up making you feel great at the end of the day. So it's not to say that I've shut off my people pleasing tendencies, but specific to being around negative people, I've realized that going out of my way to make them feel better is self-fulfilling, because I'm just trying to make myself feel better so I can make the environment more cool, calm, collected, but it actually never ends up working. And so, yeah, I think there was a good way that somebody phrased like people pleasing. on TikTok, of course, that I thought was really interesting. But it's an interesting thought to reframe people pleasing to not be such a great thing. Like, I don't think personally people should be proud to say that they're a people pleaser, because I don't want to view you as a pushover. And I also don't want to view you as someone that is like maybe a little bit more self-centered and thinking about themselves and how they can be better in situations, even if that's maybe not how you feel as a people pleaser, but it can come across to people that way who maybe are more in the train of thought that I have right now about the whole thing. So let me say people pleaser 5 more times. People pleaser, people pleaser, people pleaser, people pleaser. Guess as we head into this new year, I don't know if any of you guys made New Year's resolutions, but I think I'm going to stick to just making one New Year's resolution and sticking to it loosely, because I used to get so ambitious about the New Year's resolutions and like, no lower screen time and read this many books, and definitely bandwagoning with a lot of other people's New Year's resolutions. But my one this year, because my sweet tooth was really getting out of control and it was very specific. So I actually like the idea of doing one very specific New Year's resolution. And my very specific one was to not go out of my way to get a sweet treat. As in, I would literally be walking somewhere and I would see like a cookie in the window and I would have to go into the bakery because I'm like, you only live once. It looks delicious. I have to get it. I'll just nibble on it. And I'm eating a cookie at like 10:30 in the morning for no reason. Asking Dylan to go to a specific candy store in Midtown before we go to his parents in Connecticut for Christmas, because I found out that one of these stores actually has Swedish candy and like I had to get my hands on it. And I've tried the Swedish candy before. It's not new to me, but it was just, I literally made him FaceTime me and I had to pick out the candy and then I ate it on the train. And then I felt like crap. So when there's an event around it, or when I'm really feeling like this sounds really good right now and I'm happy to go out of my way to do this, I want to, but I don't. It was lackluster. Like when I was continuously going out of my way. Also, another example, I would walk past Bon Bon, which is a chain Swedish candy, like kind of luxury candy shop in New York. And they've opened a few more locations to my demise around the city. One of them being in West Village is kind of like off on a corner. Honestly, one that I don't pass by often, but I was passing by it oddly a lot. And every single time I passed by it, I'd say, oh my gosh, I have to go in because I'm not going to be walking past here much longer. Like, I don't know the next time I'll be over here. So I'd stop. I literally stopped in twice. Once when I passed it on the way to a store I was going to, and then I walked the same way back because I was going back to work. And I also went back in and got more candy. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I just need to keep walking. What's happening? And like, then you get the candy too. Your teeth get all coated with grossness, and I'm brushing my teeth during the day. It's just like I'm like, what is going on? So not going out of my way to go get sweet treats has been a really good one for me. I've been pretty good. Maybe Dylan would say otherwise, but I think I've been pretty good. I've definitely walked past Bon Bon maybe like just once already. Haven't been back there since. I did go out of my way to go try, and this was science, a new froyo shop that opened in West Village called Birdie's NYC, but they were out of cookie dough. And man, the froyo places in New York, they just don't do it the same way California does. Breakfast burritos and froyo, it's just not the same here. They don't let you self-serve a lot of stuff. It's always $20. The froyo isn't always that good. They like try to make it like healthy, and the toppings are okay. And what happened when there was froyo chains on every corner? Like there's 16 handles here, but it's not that good. That's like the only like junky chain where you can self-serve and go wild. And then there's one in Murray Hill called Tasty Light. It's the best froyo in New York City, hands down. It could compete in Los Angeles for sure. The biggest wall of toppings you've ever seen, like really good flavors that they're rotating. You can sample anything. You do self-samples, you do self-froyo. Like delicious. But that was my one New Year's resolution. I think I'm doing okay. I've been doing some more morning workouts, which have also been fun. I've like literally been waking up like a corpse in the morning. Like I actually can't even open my eyes and have been skipping a lot of them, but I've been doing them, which is most important, because if I were to tell myself a year ago or a few months ago that I'd be doing morning workouts, I would be like, you're out of your mind. And I was given a complimentary membership to New York Pilates. So I've been doing that too, which was like crazy. Like, this is why you should post on social media and post organically about things you love, because despite follower count and likes, like, people see this, and if they like your personality, they will reach out and want to engage with you. So definitely want to continue that. But overall, I hope this was insightful. I hope you guys like hearing me talk. If you're here from any other channel and you want me to discuss like certain topics, or you have specific questions, like, let me know. I always love feedback. I never get it, but I love it. So would love to hear from you all. And thank you so much for tuning in. Love each and every one of you. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.